Hello again everyone, David Daniel here. So this week's video is about creativity. Why is it important? And what are 3 tips for how you can bring more creative expression into your own life? So get out your journals and let's get started. And remember, just to give a little bit of a refresher, this is part of the 3 video series where we're talking about the 3 intelligence centers of the body and how they align with an intention that I hold for myself on a daily basis. The first last week was the heart intelligence center, and the intention there is compassion. Compassion towards self, compassion towards others. This week is the head brain, and that's creativity. That's the intention of creativity. And next week is the gut brain, and the intention there is courage. And then we'll wrap it up by talking about how these 3 come together in a highest expression of who you can be as a person. So let's talk about creativity this week. First, why is it important? Well, I can give you my own personal reasons for it, but that's not why you're here. I want to give you a reason first from neuroscience. Neuroscience actually teaches us that the brain releases chemicals, pleasure chemicals, when we are creating. We've talked before about the dopamine opioid cycle, which is that pleasure-seeking cycle in the brain. Well, when we're creating, it's releasing these chemicals and creating joy. And I think we can think about when we have created in the past, don't you feel happy? Doesn't it make you feel good? And so that's number 1, is neuroscience teaches us that it really is doing that for us. Number 2, I actually think that with the issues that we're facing in the world today, whether it's climate change, starvation, environmental degradation, violence, really the answer lies in our creativity. And Einstein summed it up so well when he said, you can't solve problems at the same level of consciousness at which you created them. We need to create new mindsets. We need to innovate. So that's why creativity is so important as we look at the intractable problems that we face today. It actually requires a new way of being, a new way of thinking. So let's bring that creativity out, guys. So how do we do that? Here's 3 tips for how I bring more creativity into my own life. And these are going to go in ascending orders of difficulty. Tip number 1, I just want you to tune in a little bit to, do you tend to move more toward things or away from things? Are you a striver or an avoider? Creators are always moving toward. That's one thing that you should tune into, and listen to the questions that you ask. Listen to the internal monologue that you have. Ask other people around you, do I tend to be moving towards a vision, or do I tend to be avoiding pain? It's a really important distinction that I'd like for all of us to tune into. So that's tip number 1, is just pay attention a little bit to, am I moving toward things or away from things? Tip number 2, I want you to actually start to tune into times in the past when you've been creative. I want you to write down 10 times or 10 things that you've created. Could be recently, could be from your distant past, it doesn't matter. But times when you really felt like that was something that I created, I made that happen. And again, it could be a song, it could be a conversation, it could be a drawing, it could be something, a note that you wrote to someone, it could be a garden, it could be a meal that you cooked. Don't limit yourself in what it means to be creative. You don't have to be Mozart to think that you're a creator. So think of these 10 things and write them down, and then here's the work. Every morning I want you to wake up, and I want you to reflect on those 10 things. But I want you to do it in a very particular way. As you're thinking about the times when you were creating that, I want you to associate yourself to the memory. And what that means is, I want you to be in your body, experiencing, looking out on the world, feeling what you were feeling, hearing what you were hearing, feeling the feelings of being a creator. So as you think about those things, don't watch yourself like you're in a movie, right? Be associated with the memory and really be in it. Feel it, be it, experience it, because it's that feeling of being a creator that I want to remind you of. And so every day this week, I want you to take that list of 10, I want you to associate yourself with each memory, and I want you to go through them and believe that you are a creator. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is a visualization exercise that really reinforces what we did in tip 2, but it's going a little bit deeper. So if you have a meditation practice, I want you to do a meditation for a week that really tunes into your creative self. Get yourself centered, get yourself focused on your breath, do some balanced breathing for 3 or 4 minutes. Really get yourself centered and settled. And after you've been able to do that, what I want you to do is I want you to start imagining a spark that's in the middle of your chest that slowly starts to expand out across your body. And what that spark is that is creative expression. That is an explosion of creativity that's happening in you. It then leaves your body, it explodes out into the world, out into the room around you, beyond the room, out into the planet. As far as your mind can go, I want you to carry this visualization, this point of light that's exploding out of you with creativity. And so that's the visualization or the meditation that I want you to go through. So there's our tips for this week. I talked a little bit about why creativity is important, gave you the 3 tips. Tip number 1, again, is I want you to think about, am I moving toward or away from? Tip number 2, write down the 10 times you've been creative in your life and associate yourself with those memories every morning. And tip number 3 is the visualization where creativity is literally exploding out of you into the planet. So there we have it. I'll see you next week. Please continue to share the videos. And until then, go out every single day. Be present and aware in every moment. Be gentle and kind with yourself and with others. And be here now. Thank you.